Week 2 is in the books. We'll have a quick look at the league table. Oh, who's this on the top? Oh, it's your champion. It's your champion back where he rightfully deserves to be, on top of all of you shit sippers. The champ socks back at number 1. Get used to it. I'm staying there forever. I'm never going away. In all seriousness, this is the view from the bottom with your champion. And let's go through the matchups and do a quick review of how everyone did. So first up, we had me versus Kinch. I predicted me to win this game, and honestly, it was looking very, very dire going into Monday Night Football. But Diggs somehow got the job done. Like, when you watch the highlights, it's just Diggs catching deep outs like non-stop. Fantastic game. I think overall, the difference there was Allen feeding Diggs, basically. Some absolutely boneheaded decisions, like playing DJ Chark. What was I thinking? And then, yeah, I mean, I was distraught when this happened, when Tampa Bay defense got it going. There's no changes. Like, you could have played Damian Harris over Hines, and that would have got you the win. I wouldn't beat yourself. Well, you know what? No, you know what? Beat yourself up about that one, because Damian Harris was a way better player than Hines. Like, you should be ashamed. You should be ashamed. And Wentz ended up not being a bad pickup for me. I called that out last week as well. Tua did okay. He was number 1 QB of the week. I don't know what they put in his fucking cornflakes that morning, but there you go. Yeah, a lot of chopping and changing on my roster. I think it's still full of holes, and in all seriousness, long term, I'm not going to be at the top. But yeah, got to be happy with this win. On Kinch's side, Derek's a worry, but that game got out of hand very quickly. And I mean, Naheem Hines, I don't know what you were thinking there. Okay, let's get into our next matchup. So this was Matt versus Jim. I believe I picked Matt to win this one. So disappointed that this is technically my first loss against my predictions record. Let's get into what actually happened in the matchup. So Mahomes on Jim's side really shat the bed a little bit, and then you had some problems with Kamara just before kickoff as well. On the other side, Lamar Jackson, he had a hell of a day, helped by an 80-yard touchdown run. But even without that, so even if you take like the 14 points off of that or whatever it was, that's still a hell of a day. Still a really good day on the ground. Sorry, not on the ground, in the air for him. So yeah, Lamar's on that comeback contract season. Running backs, honestly, you can't even say they did that bad. Saquon Barkley is getting a lot of work, and Gibson's getting a lot of work until Brian Robinson comes back anyway. And AJ did as well. There's a lot of volume went around here, and then the best guy was actually Breece Lightning. You must be so frustrated that they're not actually using him. But hey ho. And then yeah, the difference maker, Jalen Waddle, fucking hell, like that Miami game was just touchdown after touchdown after touchdown. It is a beautiful thing to watch. And then Cortland Sutton as well, finally coming good. It helps that Jerry Jeudy's out. He's going to be a smash play from here on out. Some solid defenses played by you both. And yeah, I mean, tight ends. What is the point in tight ends, man? Just fucking roll the dice and put someone in. Good win by Jim there. Got to be happy with Jalen Waddle. And then bench pieces like Jeff Wilson. I don't think he's ever going to break into your lineup, so that's just like wasted real estate for you there. Kenneth Walker is finally getting on the pitch, so that's good. Garrett Wilson, he's going to take over Thielen in one of your spots once Pittman's back as well, so that's a nice little spot on your bench there. And then Jim has just got so much talent here, he just doesn't know what to do with it. I'm going to admit it, I'm off from Ramondre Stevenson now. I was into him, but I'm not into him as much anymore. I think even if Damian Harris is not there, sorry, it's just too much of a split. I don't like it anyway. But yeah, good win by Jim. Okay, our next matchup was Ed versus Mark. I did predict Mark to win this one, but he let me down. And when I say he let me down, it's certain members of his team let me down, but that's okay. Tom Brady, I think you need to get... I think I talked about this last week. You need to get Tom Brady out your lineup. He's now lost Mike Evans for a game as well. He's just not a smart play, not until all his receivers are back and healthy. Like, give it 6 weeks, he'll be smashing it. but until then, like you just can't put him in. On the other side, Jalen Hurts is just he's just doing his thing. He's going to be a solid start, just easy for your QB position every week. And then running backs wise, no one really was outstanding. Good to see McCaffrey getting a lot of volume. Same with Mixon as well. The Bengals, I don't know what's going on there. I don't know if it's coaching or if it's just bad O line, but it's less than 3 yards a carry for Mixon. That shouldn't be happening. And then Lenny on the other side as well, 24 carries. That poor guy can't last that many. I feel like the main difference here is basically just Tyreek, that freakish bloody Miami game, just doling out points like Christmas, and then you had a good defense and kicker play as well. So can't be too upset. On Mark's side, Allen Robinson was fine. Michael Thomas looks like he's not back to old Michael Thomas, but he's getting it done. So he's just he's putting you lineup every week. That's fine. Tight end, just roll the dice, put whoever comes up in. Trey Lance, obviously, you can get off your roster now. Cordarrelle, this is a bit worrying. He's splitting time with the rookie. It seems like they always want to split time with him. So do with that information what you will. I would probably, I don't know if I'd move on from him, but whatever you can get, I'd take. Tony Pollard, he's probably never going to break into your lineup. You're never going to be brave enough to play him over McCaffrey or Mixon, but he's nice to have. See if he keeps doing it, And then, you've got Cooper as well, actually going off for once. Hopefully this carries on. Jacoby Brissett looks like he's finally getting it together, so hopefully he can get into your lineup. Good cover for Mike Evans anyway. Good win by Ed, powered by Hill. I don't think that's going to happen every week, but it's see how you go the rest of the season. Okay, our next matchup is Connor versus Numbnuts. I believe I picked Numbnuts to win this one as well. I think I did. I might have picked Connor. I'd have to go and check the tape on that. But this is an outstanding performance by Connor's boys. QBs, literally identical. They are the same person, just an old white guy slinging balls around. Gotta love it. You've then got running backs, and I said this was like the key matchup, and it's like a 20. I mean, this is like a 44 points. Well, the 3 touchdowns that went to Chubb's way instead of Kareem Hunt's way. That's 36 point swing. So and that just contributes a lot of points to this total. But it wasn't the only deciding factor, to be honest. I have to admit I've been wrong on some things. So Drake London and Atlanta in general, so they're getting it done. They're looking good. Smith, good to see him get some actual catches. Higgins, he played. He didn't have super brains. You got to be happy with that. He's a good player, man. He's a good player. And then CeeDee Lamb, like a really, really good target share. I just worry that with shit QBs, this is like his ceiling now. But it's not a bad ceiling. He's a good guy to have. You're gonna need a new receiver to replace Jerry. I think he looked dead. And then Terry McLaurin as well. You're just hoping for long grabs with him, like Curtis Samuel and Jahan Dotson is just killing it over there. Tight ends, the Muth is so Luth. You've got a really good tight end there, just in terms of he's like Trubisky's a bag of shit and looks for him all the time. And then Mark Andrews is probably tight end 1 of the year, and he's just gonna give you so many good points there. Overall, some good streaming on your kickers and defenses. Pittsburgh was a brave choice, but I mean, all you were missing was some sacks, and with TJ Watt out, it's going to be tough for them to get them. So I'd consider, in general, Pittsburgh aren't really an easy matchup anymore, and I would move on from them if you can. In terms of your bench players who could come in, Raheem Mostert is very, very interesting now. All of the carries and everything swung over from Edmonds to him, so he might be someone to watch out for. He fits in the archetype of what they're doing as well, which is just fast guys running all over the field. So he might have a sneaky winner in there. And then on the other side, when Godwin finally plays, it's going to be good, but I mean, Devin Singletary, I'd just move on from now. You can't trust the Buffalo running back unless it's Josh Allen. Zeke, that's an awful stat line, isn't it? 15 carries, 53 yards. Barely sneaking over 3 yards a carry. And then Jarvis Landry, there's a lot of mouths to feed in New Orleans. It was a tough game, but Yeah, see what happens going on there. Greg Dortch, he's on a timeline as well. So yeah, some bench pieces. I think especially Connor, you got the win, but this could do with being strengthened overall. Yeah, but overall, Num, a disappointment once again. Connor, I look forward to smashing you next week. Our next matchup and our upset of the week. The Joe Bunglers went down to Damien's boys. Let's have a look into the matchup. So I said this as soon as you draft. I've been saying this all season long. Joe Burrow is not like, you shouldn't be relying on him. You just shouldn't be relying on him. He's had 11 sacks in 2 games, and he's on pace for 110 sacks on the season, or 116 sacks on the season, or something like that. I don't know how they work it out, but yeah, he's on. Is it like 8 sacks he's on? It's 111. It's a stupid number, of sacks. So you've got to let go of where you drafted him and start thinking about what's actually going to help your team. I think you start to look at this as a bit of a trend now. Like, Dallas aren't great, and they did that to you. On the other side, Kyler Murray, he'd clearly been in the books doing his homework and got the job done. That's a good stat line for him. This is the story of the day, though, isn't it? Jonathan Taylor let you down. Justin Jefferson let you down. That is just disappointing. But if 2 of your stars miss on a week, this is the score you're going to get. You know, without a good QB to give you the 25 points that you really want, you're always going to struggle. Yeah, Travis Kelce, like, it looks like a down week, but it's fine. It's fine. He's still got seven targets overall. KC weren't great. Deontay, you know, you're getting really, really good volume for him, and yeah, we'll talk about Deontay compared to Curtis Samuel in a bit. And then on the other side, Damien making some good plays with some absolute nobodies, like Jacoby Myers getting lots of points for you. Russell Gage next week with Mike Evans out, he's a play. He's definitely a play. Josh Jacobs and Najee are just fine. They're getting good volume for you. You can't complain with 20 points from there. And then you've got kickers and defenses. You both were shit there, to be honest. So that kind of it literally evens out pretty much. On your bench, so Curtis Samuel, and we've been having a bit of a back and forth about Curtis Samuel versus Deontay Johnson. I don't mind either play, to be honest. I just think, like, you're back in. Everyone's got the downsides on each one. It's very tough to take a guy out you drafted in the first round and put a guy in who you picked up off waivers for like 20 fab or whatever it was. But you've got to think, like, what is like the highest possible outcome for this guy, and you know, when you look at it, what was the highest outcome for Deontay Johnson? I think this is it. I think this is his ceiling. I think it's 11 targets, 7 catches, probably at about 8 yards a catch, and if he's lucky, a touchdown. Whereas with Curtis Samuel, like, he's still getting like 11 targets last week, 9 targets this week. He runs things on the ground as well, and in general, like, Washington against Detroit is a better matchup than Pittsburgh against New England. So yeah, I don't know. I think you could look at your decision-making process there. How much were you influenced by him being a first-round pick for you versus what is the situation on the ground? On the other side, Damien, yeah, I bet you can't wait till Hopkins is back. And I'd probably move on from Rondale Moore while you got the chance. You got something to sell here as well, Nick. Like, got it. Just take what you can get for him. I know you got a history of selling tight ends for 4s, but someone will pay you for Goddard at some point, right? But yeah, overall, the champ was taken down, but I wouldn't lose hope. It's a one-off week for Jonathan Taylor. You've still got a very good squad, and you're still going to trounce people next week. You're still probably the favourite to win it all. Our final matchup, another upset that I predicted. We have Skell against Mike, and Skell. It's 2 weeks in a row now. You've put together some serious scores. Is Skelly a contender this year, or is it just a fluke 2 times in a row? We'll jump in and we'll take a bit of a look. First of all, Herbert. So Herbert got injured. I don't actually know if he's like he has a chance to play, but possibly look at picking up a backup just in case. I know a guy who's got Tua going spare. You could possibly talk to him. On the other side, Russell Wilson. I'd move on from Russell Wilson, man. There's better options on the waiver wire, and if Jerry Jeudy's out, especially, it's just the coaching and everything there looks bad. Like they just don't get plays out fast, and yeah, I don't like the look of what Denver are doing. Give it like 6 weeks and I'd love it, but I don't like what they're doing right now. Aaron Jones had a hell of a day, like 15 carries, and but the even funny part is like you'd already put Mikey to bed by this point. Do you know what I mean? Like you'd already absolutely destroyed him, and then Aaron Jones just comes in and sprinkles 30 points on top, like that absolute baller move. You love to see it. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he's still getting it done. He's still getting a lot of volume. I think you can be relatively happy with him as your RB2. And then on the other side, Eckler, again, good volume. You love to see like 10 receptions, 10 targets on a running back. Dalvin had a bit of a down game, but I don't know. I haven't actually watched the highlights of this yet. I don't know what happened, but yeah. I mean, the snap percentage was down. They must have been chasing it. Yeah, just looks like it was an off day. Anyway, on the other side, oh man, you left fucking Gabe in. Like, come on, Mikey. So other people might think you're tanking, but you don't have any picks next year, so you can't be tanking. This is just like, yeah, not paying attention. I don't know. Maybe it was a late minute pull. Like I said, I haven't really watched last night's games yet. On the other side, Jamal had a down day, which was still very, very good for him, and it's more than made up for by Amon-Ra. He's an absolute superstar. You can't go wrong there. Devontae Adams again, another down day, but it's still okay, I guess. Like he's still going to be fine in terms of targets and stuff moving forward. Juju, you've got to get off the Kansas City wide receivers. Any Kansas City wide receiver not named Travis Kelce, I just wouldn't bother with. Yeah, I recommended this play, the Taysom Hill play. I'd just stick with it because fucking tight ends are so all over the place. Like you may as well. And then Zach Ertz on the other side, that's what you like to see from a tight end. 11 targets, that's lovely. Yeah, I think there's not much you could have done to win this game. You didn't have. I mean, you could have put Dotson in. You could have played the Buffalo defense, but I still don't think that's enough to get you the win. So yeah, don't beat yourself up too much. Maybe I mean even with Robinson in, that's like overcooked. You're only adding like 45 points, which is still it's just not enough for what Skell did to you. And on the other side, like Tyler Lockett, I like this. I like this stat line from Tyler Lockett purely because that's a lot of targets and it's better than DK. It's better than DK. Yeah, you've got some interesting pieces there, Skell. Devin Duvernay can go. Get rid of that because this isn't a good stat line. Michael Carter, he gets most of the snaps up in New York, but yeah. And then on the other side, like Mike, I just honestly, there's things to move on from, and it's MVS, it's Juju, it's Paris Campbell. Stop just playing Dotson. Just believe in Dotson, and then just raid the waiver wire for everything else. You need a new QB, and you need a wide receiver 3 as well. But I think there's stuff out there on the waiver wire, which we'll get to next. Okay, so on to the waiver wire. First of all, let's talk about QBs. I think there's only really 2 targets to talk about here, and that is Kirk Cousins and Jimmy Garoppolo. Kirk Cousins, Detroit have been in shootouts every game so far, and I don't see this changing. Like they have a very good pass rush in Detroit, but that means that they can, especially with Amon-Ra like killing it, they get ahead in games, and that means QBs have to sling to chase it. So Justin Jefferson should feast. You should see a lot of Dalvin in the game as well. But yeah, Kirk Cousins, he's probably a pretty good play. I know he absolutely whiffed up the place last night. I think they played, but I wouldn't be too worried about it. I think he'll be fine. And then Jimmy Garoppolo as well. So in terms of a spot starter, like Denver's a bit of a dodgy one because and he's away at Denver as well. So that's quite a lot of going to the mile highs. They're always a risky proposition, but I think overall, like he's on a very good team, and a very good team means he's going to be winning. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, and QBs who win and do well tend to get more fantasy points. So not really much else to go after. Like Trevor Lawrence has got a terrible matchup, but other than that, like he's just not worth it really. And then yeah, there's just no one else really that you'd be excited to stick in your lineup. Marcus Mariota, he's winning, not winning, but he's doing well, but he's not getting the fantasy points, like the outrageous games that you really want. So yeah, these two are the only ones really worth talking about. You've probably got more use like trying to make a trade. There's a few people carrying a couple of QBs who could probably let one go very cheap. So just as an example, I know I'm a bit biased here, but Carson Wentz looks like he could, he's been absolutely smashing his projections, and against Philly, like Jalen Hurts is going to keep the game competitive. You could see a lot of points being dropped here as well. So yeah, and then or even Tua if you really want to swing for the fences, like Tua against Buffalo. Buffalo are going to score a lot of points, and the Buffalo defense are very very good, but Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle are very very fast. So yeah, that's just a couple of QBs you might want to ask about. I haven't looked at who else might have double QBs, but I'm sure they're out there. Then next up, running backs to talk about. So again, we're doing quite a good job at really hammering the waiver wire. But in terms of people that, if you need production this week, I would possibly wait to see who gets dropped from. I'd wait to see who gets dropped from people's rosters, and I would possibly look at picking up. If you absolutely need production and it's minging, if Kamara's out, Mark Ingram. Oh, I feel horrible even saying it, to be honest. Don't even look at Rex Burkhead. Like Houston are a mess, and then don't even look at Buffalo's. Yeah, they're just, you don't know what's going to happen there at all. Look at that, just bogging. Yeah, but the ones I would like is possibly have a little $5 gamble on someone like Darrell Williams. So if Connor misses time, if James Conner misses time, he took a bit of a knock, then he's just going to slot right in and he will get the job done. You can see based on his stats that he did already. Honestly, this yards per carry almost demands that he goes in the game anyway. So he's probably worth a little flutter. And then Josh Kelly as well. So they messed around with Sony Michel, and he wasn't very good. So I think it's a case of you pick him up and wait to see if there's a Eckler injury. Outside of that, you've got the usual suspects in terms of potential injuries, if they're even there. So Chuba Hubbard and man, that's really it. Jalen Warren, if Najee goes down. Yeah, pick up some backups if you want it, but that's really about it. It's just these two guys are the only ones I'm really interested in this week. Everyone else is just a bit trash. Then wide receivers, get Mecole out of there, man. I don't want to see a thing. Oh, sorry, Mike, you did drop Marquez Valdes-Scantling. You must have been doing some funny business with your roster during the week, but fair enough. Yeah, get Mecole out of there, get Marquez out of there. Don't want to see either of them. Corey Davis, like a good snap share, and he got the touchdown. I just don't like the number of targets. He's on the field a lot, but not getting targets. That's a worry for me. One that I do like is Nico Collins. So he wasn't on the field that much, but had a high target share. So that means when he was on the field, they were looking for him. So Nico might be one to stash on your roster and see what happens there. Like someone has to catch passes in Houston, and it might as well be this guy, I guess. And then outside of that, we're back to the usual suspects. I would ignore Devontae Parker, Sterling Shepard. Like again, someone has to catch passes in New York, and like Kenny Golladay, for the Kenny Golladay truthers out there, he played 2 snaps. 2 snaps. All right, he's fucking done. I heard he cleaned out his locker after the game. Okay, Kenny Golladay is a piece of shit. Someone has to catch passes in New York. Sterling Shepard is now, I think, the veteran presence. May as well have a look at him. Yeah, and then who else can we look at? Devontae Parker, ignore. ignore. Now, Zay Jones, like, he took a big step downhill. This is a guy I was going to talk about, but yeah, I don't know. You can probably ignore that. Noah Brown, I think this was all fake. Like, I wouldn't look for this again to like repeat itself. So, this guy and Cooper Rush played together a lot on the practice squad. I don't think it'll repeat, but someone's got to play opposite CeeDee Lamb. Why not this guy? Why not this guy? You know, if you're going to spend on him, and I know I sound like I'm trying to talk him down so I can get him myself, but if you're going to spend on him, like, don't spend loads, and just to like show what I would do. At most I would probably go this, to be honest, and I'm gonna drop DJ Shark for him because, like, yeah, I don't think this is real. It's a good snap share, but I don't think it's real. Anyway, that's my bid. Yeah, outside of that, there was one more guy. Was it this guy? No. Maybe it was this guy. There's like some random dude who is the like he's the catch leader in New York, and he's like a rookie or something. He's like David Sills, wherever he is. He might be worth a shout because, like I say, someone's got to catch passes in New York. They're going to be free to pick up basically after waivers. So if you've got the space, just slip them on and see what happens. One more, Scott Miller. So again, possibly worth slipping on your roster. You're hoping for a lot of targets and catches with everyone else being out for the Buccaneers. Rashad Perriman as well, with everyone out for the Buccaneers. Like, this guy used to be a deep threat for him. He's done it before, so yeah, he could be a guy that you pick up and you put on. And if you're in a pinch, just put him on your roster and see what he does. Yeah, that is basically everyone worth talking about, to be honest. I don't think, maybe put Wandale, slip him on your roster, he'll be free, you know. Anyway, just some guys to think about. Last one is tight ends, everyone's favourite position. So like, I would genuinely recommend just finding yourself a D10 or a D6 or something like that. Write down 6 names, pick 6 names from this list, and roll the dice and see what comes up, because that's basically what you're hoping for. But yeah, Gerald Everett got a lot of targets, but this is with Keenan Allen out this week, and that's kind of like when you look, like, lots of targets is what you like to see. So yeah, I don't know. If Keenan Allen's back next week, this probably doesn't repeat. Cole Kmet, absolute disappointment. I wouldn't bother looking his way at all. Yeah, and then, like, you just start getting very, very desperate very, very quickly. Tyler Higbee as well, he got lots and lots of volume. So I think in terms of ranking them, if it looks like Keenan Allen's going to be out, I'd have Gerald Everett. Otherwise, I'd have Higbee as number 1, 2, and then yeah, just genuinely just pick like six to 10 random guys on here and roll the dice and see what happens. You know, like any one of these could score a touchdown and make you happy. Like, even fucking Evan Engram could catch a load of passes and make you happy. Look at that. That's not a bad stat line. And that was against Indy. Who are okay. Like, this is repeatable. This is easily repeatable. Yeah, I just hate tight ends, man. They're just fucking shit. Isaiah Likely, he was pretty good preseason. That's alright. That's alright. But yeah, I don't know. Genuinely, just pick 6 guys, roll the dice, and see what you get. Kickers, don't really give a shit about kickers. Defenses, so my defensive picks have not been that great so far, and I do apologise for that. But I wouldn't trust Houston to not be good, so I'd maybe avoid that one. New York, you could pick them up against Dallas because it's a nice rivalry game, and you've also got the potential for lots of sacks there with the new QB, the rookie QB. Then I mean, the Chargers maybe be okay, but Jacksonville did a number on Indeed last week. Houston Texans at Chicago. So this is a bit of a sneaky pickup, to be honest. Like they are a surprising team. That's all I'll say. And again, I wouldn't trust Minnesota because Detroit are just boat racing people at the minute. This is a play. This is a play. The Raiders at Tennessee. Like, it's a long way to travel. But like they had to take Tannehill out the game in their last game. So, there could be opportunities there. There could be opportunities there. Yeah, so there's some defenses for you to look at. Hopefully you've got one locked in already. Personally, I'm probably going to roll the dice on like New York, but I'm not going to bother waving. I'm just going to wait to see who comes out. Yeah, that has been the view from the bottom. I hope you've enjoyed. Fuck you all. Fuck you, Connor. I'm going to beat you this week. And yeah, go Champ Socks.